Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? This is Tim, Morphed Out Reptiles, bringing you another video. Today's topic is going to be equipment based. We're just going to go over in this one pretty much what we use here at Morphed Out Reptiles, what type of equipment we run our facility with, and just give you a little in-depth, little tiny video for that. Pretty much, it's always nice to see what everybody else has, what you guys run your facilities off of. So we just figured it would be pretty cool to show you guys what we have here. We did not start with these fancy ARS racks in the back. I actually started in a melamine rack. So years ago we had melamine racks, which we made our own racks. Everything was pretty simple as long as it worked. That's what we were worried about. Heat tape, we installed all that ourselves. So pretty much took a good couple years for us to get established and doing some saving and everything, and then we were able to finally upgrade to our ARS systems and everything like that. But we'll get into the actual rack sizes here shortly. So again, if you are new to the channel, we appreciate you stopping in and checking out the content. If you would, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you guys are up to date with everything. You can also click that notification bell to get a notification whenever we drop our new content, videos, reels, stuff like that. So yeah, we appreciate you guys for tuning in, and let's get into it. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in again. So today, like we said in the beginning, we're just going to go through and pretty much show off some of the equipment that we use here at Morphed Out Reptiles and how we run our facility. So pretty much we're going to start off with, I feel, the most important thing in our collection is our incubator. We use the Hotbox incubators from Sea Serpents. I believe this is the second to biggest size. We don't have the jumbo one. But this thing has been a lifesaver. Really like the product. On this one, this is the upgraded, I guess maybe not upgraded, but the newer version, to where we have two fans in the back. That comes all pre-assembled. So shout out to Chris with Sea Serpents. We love our incubator. We have our gauges in there. We have it running all the time. Right now, we still have it on from last year. I tend to keep it on if I know that the seasons are going to be close. So yeah, as far as the incubator, we started with, homemade incubators, wine coolers. We even used, if you guys do some digging and jump down the rabbit hole of Morphed Out Reptiles, you'll see photos where we used an igloo cooler. So we had heat tape on that. That worked for, man, I want to say probably at least 4 years for us. It worked perfectly fine with the thermostat, everything. So over time, again, speaking of upgrades, we always want to try to advance and get into that more, not only professional look, but professional build. It's way easier, and yeah, so once you're able to do that, it's a good thing to kind of upgrade everything, not only your animals, but your equipment as well if you get the chance. So we finally were able to upgrade to the Sea Serpents incubator. Really like it. 2 locks on the front, so everything's secured. Nice big opening. I think we took out one of the original shelves. We pretty much have water bottles on the bottom, and then we have a shelf sitting on top of that. And then we're running a couple shelves. I know some people, they have to where they'll just stack the tubs. I like to do shelf oriented, so if I have to pull a clutch out, I don't have to move all the other clutches on top of them. But yeah, I mean, and then we just have like little temperature and humidity gauges that we sit inside, because basically we want the inside of the incubator, since we rarely open it, we want it to be we run about 88 to 89 degrees on our incubations. So we've never had a problem with this. We have a light in there so we can see everything that's going on. And then pretty much to get into, we use a pretty simple, this is from the Container Store. I believe it's just a shoebox tub. That's what we use for our incubation tubs. We have our Easy Hatch trays. We use those. If you guys can see, we use vermiculite right now. We're going to be looking into a few different options as far as different substrate for incubation. I'm always playing around with stuff, and I won't do it with a clutch in there. I'll just do a tub setup and keep it in the incubator and see if there's something that is more efficient for us versus buying vermiculite all the time. I've seen a lot of different options, so we play around with stuff throughout the year just to see different incubation and tub setup methods. We run on our incubator, we run a Herpstat 1 thermostat. Thermostats are very important. I think that it's one of the most important things that you can buy, especially in any reptile setup, is a good thermostat. There has been a few people that have brought it to my attention that there's other options, but again, even with the cheaper options, versus Herpstat, VEs, there's can't remember the name. I think Inkbird is a thermostat that I've heard a couple people recommend. But just, it's still safe to do your research, read the reviews, reach out to people, see what they're using. And that's why even, you guys see a bunch of facilities all the time on YouTube, but I think it's, important for our channel to be able to show you guys what we use. And maybe if you have any questions or anything, you guys can, of course, reach out to us and we'll try to help you out as best as we can. But yeah, so incubator, hot box incubators, Chris at Sea Serpents, Caging and Racks, Herpstat 1 thermostat. We use our tubs. We have the vermiculite. We do use press and seal. And then right with our incubator, of course, we always have our clutch cards. So when we go through and set up a female, we grab a clutch card, get our bin ready, do everything up, put the information, and this goes on the tub in the incubator so we don't forget what the pairing is. So yeah, that's our incubator. Alrighty guys, moving on to the next stop in the collection room is our juvenile and baby wall. So pretty much here I've used many different styles of tubs, 6 quarts, 15 quarts. Again, if you dig down the rabbit hole to see, our older setups, we had melamine rack with either the purple handle, you can get them at Target, the purple handle 15 quart tubs. You can do 2 of those or a 32 quart sideways in those type of racks. We used to use the 32 quart tubs for like our breedings and the 15s, but back then we were looking at it as, we needed a 6 quart tub rack for our fresh hatchlings, and then as they get older and bigger, we would move them up to a 15 quart and then go from, a 15 quart to a 28 quart and then a 32 quart. So as we grew as a business and as we grew as a collection, space is definitely a key factor. So we want to use and utilize as much of the space as we can with our different houses and areas that we've had our collections. We've had a few collections over the the past probably 16 years. So when we got back in and started the actual morphed out reptiles again, for we licensed everything and stuff like that with the business side, we wanted to be, we wanted to be on top of it. We wanted to make the most use of our space. So this is from Sea Serpents, again, our V18 hatchling racks. So V18s are really nice. I like them because, as you can tell, the tubs are pretty long. We can keep anywhere, these tubs will probably max out for a snake, 600-700 grams. We've definitely over the years had, picky eaters that when we move them to a big tub, we'll put them back in this because they're just not ready to switch over yet. So V18 tubs, I find that we can keep a fresh hatchling in these tubs, and now we've kind of moved our thought process with the holdbacks and everything. So when we put them in these tubs from, directly out of the egg to their first shed, and then they get separated into their own individual tubs, we can keep a hatchling up to about 400 grams. If they're a holdback, about 400 to 450 grams, we'll switch them over to our adult tub. We found that we keep a good feeding response, and we have had less animals go off of feed going from a small tub to a bigger tub at a smaller size. That's just what has worked for us. we haven't had any issues with it. Although moving forward with the upgrades and producing, you know, better clutches, we're gonna have to start thinking about space again, because our adult racks are gonna be full, and we're not gonna be able to move over as many hatchlings or holdbacks as we would like to at that early age if we don't have the tubs. So definitely see that we're gonna probably change some things about that in the future, but we'll see what happens when that comes. But so yeah, this is again, this is our hatchling wall. As soon as it comes out of the incubator that you guys just seen, we put them in here in one of these tubs with paper towels and a water bowl. We'll let the whole clutch do their first shed, and then once every animal in the clutch sheds, we'll go ahead and separate them out, unless the clutch is something that we're gonna test. If I'm, you know, I've started getting to the point, instead of leaving them together, because in case two shed at the same time, pretty much on the clutches that we really plan to shed test, we're gonna pretty much separate the animals as they come out of the egg, so that we can just get a jump start on that shed testing and make it as efficient as possible for us, not waiting a bunch, you know, like we have been doing. So we want to get more efficient on that with the 2025 season. So yeah, again, these are 18 or 16 levels, 2 tubs. So I think in this wall we can hold, once we get another rack, we're missing one. So we've just been piecing it together. These are 2 separate racks. So we got to add one more, and then we'll be able to hold, I think, 115 V18 tubs. So that's a good amount of animals on this wall. And when we're in our hatchling season, this whole wall will be filled. We still have room to pretty much expand. We can add another, I think, 4 levels. So we might look into that in the future. Pretty much we got a lot of negative space. You guys see the speaker up there, TV, stuff like that. But on these racks, I do have the Herpstat. We run Herpstat 2s mostly. One thermostat. So the Herpstat 2s, it has 2 probes. So we run 1 thermostat per stack. So we'll use 1 probe for the bottom rack and 1 row for the probe for the top rack. We also have 2 VE Vivarium Electronics, the VE 300x2. So that's, again, it's a different thermostat company than Herpstat, but still used. There's a few things that I personally don't like about them. Sometimes the display screen, it goes out, but it still works. I'm really not a huge fan, but it is a little bit more cost effective than a Herpstat. Still does the same thing. But yeah, those are 2 same setup as the Herpstat 2s. They have 2 probes on them, the 300x2s. And we use 1 probe setting for the bottom rack and 1 for the top rack. So we have belly heat in here. Again, these models are from Chris at Sea Serpents. And the cool thing is, in these racks, we have a few of the different ones. So in these 2 stacks of the V18 wall, we can actually hold the V35 Slim version because they're a little bit longer. In this rack, the V35 don't fit. They're a little bit shallower, so the tub sticks out a little bit, but we do have the option to go to the V35s if we want. I typically try to stay away from any different tub sizes anymore. We pretty much run the hatchling wall off of V18s, you know, and it's been a lot easier for us to do it that way with only dealing with 1 tub size. I don't know, I just like it better than that. And then, so you have a couple different style of tubs. I mean, obviously you have the typical clear tub, no water cup, everything's clear. Me personally, I like the clear tubs. These are the Freedom Breeder version. I think they're the FB10s, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but this is the Freedom Breeder version of the V18, which is V18 is a Vision product. So these ones, they have the, obviously you can see they have the dark gray color. Pretty much, it's nice to try to get everything to match as much as possible. And they have the built-in water cup and the ventilated holes. I like the ventilated holes. I personally am not a fan of the water cup. We use ceramics, so I much prefer the ceramics, especially with doing paper towels. We have very limited of the gray tubs with the water cup, just in case I want to do, like I started doing the clutches in these cups because I can put a big water cup in the middle, put 1 paper towel, and then we're good to go. So there's a few different options out there. They are, you know, they vary in price, but yeah. So this is, again, this is our baby wall with their V18s. Alrighty, moving along. Thanks for staying with us this far. So we've already covered our incubator. We've covered our the baby hatchling juvenile wall, whatever you want to call it, with the V18s. So now we move on to our adult wall. As you can see through the beginning of the pan, this is our adult wall. We have nothing but adult ball pythons and grow up ball pythons here on this wall. For our female ball pythons, we use ARS 5540 tubs, or I'm sorry, 5040 tubs for the adults. The 5040 tubs are, these things are pretty solid. We've never broken any tubs. They have the built-in water cup. We really like the ARS design. The water cup. Freedom Breeder is another type of rack with this. They have some pros and cons, I feel. Freedom Breeder, they do have the convenient pull-out drawer that you can get for like a tabletop. I really like that idea. The look, Freedom Breeder stainless ARS is kind of the galvanized, you know, flat gray. Me personally, I just prefer the ARS. Their water cups are more to the front of the tub, so it's not kind of in the middle. I know a lot of people, most of our buddies, they use the Freedom Breeder stuff. They're pretty much essentially the same concept of rack. We just prefer to use the ARS. All of our racks are the ARS hybrids, so they are a mix of, I think it's like 75 or 80% plastic. Pretty much just the rails on the front across are, you know, the steel. But yeah. And then also in our female ball pythons, we do have a small portion of the 5540 series tubs. So ARS, they have plenty of different tub options and sizes, from a hatchling all the way up to the big ARS 70 series tub, which is huge. Typically, I've had some of the 70 series rack systems before. Those are really, in my opinion, for like those monster adult ball pythons, you know, 4,000 to 6,000 gram females that are just, you know, giant girls. So we don't have those. We've found that the 55 series is definitely something that we can manage, and it works for us. Of course, the smaller girls, when they come over, or males and females, when they come over from the V18 hatchling tubs, we put them into the 5040. It's a little bit smaller. I'll show you a comparison. So we'll get one as that. So obviously you can see these are pretty much the same size width-wise, but the 55 series, the bigger one, is longer. So it allows girls to have a little bit more room. I found that the length of the 55 is, you know, pretty good. We have roughly a few girls in there that are in the 3,500 gram range, and they're not crammed in there. So we have felt that it works for us. We'll continue working with that with our adults. I really don't see myself moving up to the 70 series. Although stacking with ARS is a little bit tricky. So this is our males. Again, these two racks are females. This is our males. We only have 3 levels of the 55 or the 5040 tubs for our males. It's sitting on top of our 55. Again, there is a gap. The 55s are longer than the 5040s, so we sit it on there, and we do have a little bit of space. We just use it to keep our magnets, you know, for eggs, ovulations, or watching girls that are supposed to lay. The 70 series setup for ARS, though, does fit the same layout as the 55, so you could have the 70 series on the bottom and the 55s on top, and they will stack with their plastic stackable pieces. So that's something that does work out. But yeah, we just had pretty much wanted to level everything out, and we used 3 levels for our males. So our males are over here on top of the bigger females, and then the rest of the wall is just the adult females. On these racks, ARS, we do not use the VEs. We're really trying to move over either to Herbstad or start looking at some other options with some of of the empty racks that we have in storage. We want to bring some racks in and test some different thermostats without animals in them just to see how they work. But on our ARSs, right now we are currently using Herpstat 2s. Again, we take our first probe and we put it probably the second level from the bottom, because that's going to be colder, being closer to the floor. And then our second probe we put, I think, 2 levels down from the top. So pretty much we have 2 probes in, basically covering the whole rack to make sure that our temperatures are good. Again, when we're on a different probe, we have those heat panels hooked up to a different power strip in the back, so not everything is on the same power strip. With these racks, you can get a big power strip, but if you're splitting the probes, you definitely want to have the 2 separate power sources so it's not overlapping or trying to control with 2 probes on 1 power source. That's very important. So, but yeah, Herpstat 2s on our ARS racks, and yeah, that's pretty much the equipment that we use to run Morphed Out Reptiles. Once again, thank you everybody who tuned in to check out the video. We appreciate the views. We appreciate you guys stopping and taking time of your day to sit here and watch the stuff that we're putting out there. We're always welcome to questions, comments. If you guys, have any questions or anything like that, be sure to put it in the comments. We'll be sure to reach out to you and answer. Stay tuned for more content coming on the channel. We're really trying to amp up the content for 2025, so if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, the notification bell to stay up to date when we drop some new info. Also, we are approved finally as a seller for Palm Street. So if you guys are on the Palm Street application, go ahead over there and give us a follow at Morphed Out Reptiles. We're going to be releasing our first live over there shortly. And yeah, again, find us on Morph Market, Instagram, all the major platforms that we have. Everything is under Morphed Out Reptiles. And again, we appreciate the support and thank you guys for watching.